In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, the Lord be with you. A reading from the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians. Love is patient, love is kind, it is not jealous, love is not pompous, it is not inflated, it is not rude, it does not seek its own interests, it is not quick-tempered, it is not brutal of injury, it does not rejoice over wrongdoing, but rejoices with truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. So I just read a little short passage from the first reading today where St. Paul speaks about love, and he explains love in different ways. We probably have heard this reading before, but let's just kind of go a little deeper. I'll just examine the first three ways that St. Paul describes love so that we can understand it more and then practice it in our lives. So the first thing St. Paul says is that love is patient. Love is patient. So we know that most of us are lacking in patience. And so this patient is to be patient with the other person. We have to understand that everyone is different. Everyone has a different way of doing things, a different way of thinking, and so on. And so we respect that. We don't insist on our own way. We don't insist that others do things the way we would do, and so on. And so love allows the other person to be who they are, and we accept them for who they are, even with all their faults and their flaws, too. So we're patient with their flaws and their sins. And we're patient with others. So that's one thing, is that love is patient. It's meek and gentle. It doesn't respond harshly or with anger or with impatience, but it endures. It is meek. It is gentle. It restrains itself against impulses and so on. And the second thing that St. Paul tells us is that love is kind. Love is kind. Love is generous. Love is self-donating, self-gift. And we give ourselves to the others. We try to help the others. It's benevolent, it's magnanimous, it's generous. And so we see this all the time. I see this with parishioners who volunteer their time and their efforts and their energy for the good of others. And we see this in the saints, Mother Teresa, giving her life to serving the poorest of the poor. And so that's what love looks like. It gives of itself. It is kind to others. It helps others. And then the third thing that St. Paul says is that love is not jealous. It is not jealous. So love makes us one with the beloved. And so whatever good we see in the other person, we're happy for them. We rejoice in them. So this love is not envious because we know that we all have different gifts, different talents, different ways that we can contribute to the good of the church. I don't have all the gifts, you don't have all the gifts, but we complement each other. And so when we see somebody who is better than we are in a certain area, then we're happy for them, because it's a gift that God has given them. So we're not jealous. So we have our own gifts. We all have different gifts, and that's God's will, and that's good. And so it's not jealous. So when God rejoices or the other people rejoices, we celebrate with them. We're not jealous or envious. So that's just a quick way to just reflect on the first three ways that St. Paul describes love, and let us try to implement these qualities of love in our life. Remember that love is patient, love is kind, and love is not jealous.